My ex turned me into her obedient office doll. I used to think I was just normal. Or at least that's the version of myself I showed the world. 27. Marketing coordinator at a mid-level agency downtown. My life checked all the right boxes. Steady income, a clean apartment, decent style, even a gym membership I pretended to use. And for the past year and a half I had Emma. Emma was impossible to ignore. The kind of woman people noticed the second she stepped into a room. Sharp, confident, always composed. She worked as a junior executive at a major firm, lived in tailored suits, and carried herself like she was already running the place. We met at a networking event. She liked my humor and I was instantly drawn to everything about her. But there was a part of me she never saw. The night after our first date, I went home, locked my door, and pulled out the trunk hidden behind my winter coats. My pulse quickened, not from shame but from something closer to relief. Inside was a secret I'd been building since I was 16. Folded blouses, soft fabrics, delicate pieces I'd collected over the years. A couple of cheap wigs. My first pair of heels. Nothing extravagant, but enough to create a version of myself I kept hidden from everyone else. It wasn't about becoming someone different. Not entirely. It was about touching a quieter, softer side of myself. Something the outside world never gave me space to explore. I didn't hate that part of me. But I didn't exactly celebrate it either. Emma? I couldn't imagine her understanding. She was too put together, too controlled. The idea of telling her felt impossible, like trying to force words through a locked door. So I kept it buried. 6 months ago we moved in together and everything became riskier. I had to be careful, more careful than ever. The moments I used to have to myself disappeared. Now I only allowed that hidden side out when she was away on business trips or visiting family. But the less space I had for it, the stronger the pull became. Watching her get ready in the mornings didn't help. The quiet precision of it, the way she slipped into sheer tights, adjusted her blouse, applied makeup with effortless confidence. She looked powerful, natural, complete. And somewhere deep down I wanted to feel that same certainty. So I lived in two versions of myself. By day I was reliable, easygoing, the boyfriend who remembered her coffee order and made the right impressions at work events. But late at night, when the apartment was silent, I would slip into the spare room, unlock the trunk, and let that other side breathe, just for a little while. A softer version of me. A freer one. It stayed hidden. Until last week. It started with a message. We need to talk. I know. My chest tightened the second I read it. I tried to respond, but my fingers wouldn't cooperate. That night she came home late. I heard the sharp rhythm of her heels against the floor before I even saw her. I sat on the couch, pretending to scroll through Netflix like everything was fine. She didn't greet me. Just stood there watching. There was something different in her expression. Cool, controlled, impossible to read. "Jordan," she said at last, folding her arms. "I want you to be honest with me." I swallowed. "Okay." Pause. Then, "Do you wear my clothes?" Everything inside me dropped. I tried to speak, but nothing came out. It didn't matter anyway, she already knew. "I found your folder," she said quietly. "Photos. Videos. Some of them, you're wearing my things." The room felt like it was tilting. "Emma, She raised her hand, stopping me. "I'm not judging you," she said. Calm. Almost too calm. "But I am disappointed you didn't trust me enough to tell me." That was it. No shouting. No anger. She just turned and walked away. That was 3 days ago. Since then she's been distant. Thoughtful in a way that made me uneasy. Like she was working through something I couldn't see. I kept hoping it would pass. That she'd forget. That things would go back to normal. But tonight she smiled at me. Not warmly. Not kindly. The kind of smile that feels like a warning. "I've been thinking," she said. "You've been stressed lately. Maybe you should take some time off." I blinked. "Yeah, maybe." She tilted her head slightly, studying me. "I have an idea," she continued softly. "Something that might help you explore this side of yourself. Properly." Something in her tone made my spine tense. "I want to help you be honest about who you are," she said, her voice smooth, controlled. "But you'll have to trust me completely." Then she placed a black box on the counter. I hesitated before opening it. Inside were things I'd never owned, never even imagined owning. A fitted pencil skirt. Sheer tights. A delicate blouse. A pair of her signature red heels. and resting neatly on top, a gold name tag. Jordana, secretary to Miss Emma Quinn. I lifted my gaze to meet hers. There was a sharp glint in her eyes, something cold and deliberate. "Welcome to your new position," she said. The next morning, everything was waiting for me. The outfit lay perfectly arranged across the bed, pressed, pristine, untouched. Emma was already gone. No explanation, no goodbye. Just a small note pinned carefully to the blouse. "Try it on. I'll know if you don't." My fingers trembled as I reached for the fabric. The blouse was a soft blush tone, trimmed with delicate lace along the collar and cuffs, elegant, unmistakably feminine. More refined than anything I'd ever dared to wear, even in private. The skirt beside it was sleek and structured, the kind Emma wore when she wanted control without saying a word. And the heels, unmistakably hers. Red, sharp, unforgiving. For a moment I just stood there, unsure. Was this some kind of test? A joke? Something worse? But beneath the anxiety something else stirred. A quiet, familiar pull. This time I wasn't hiding. This time, she wanted it. I shut the bedroom door and locked it. Slowly I began. The stockings came first, sliding up my legs like liquid silk. They felt different from anything I owned. Finer, tighter, almost precise in the way they shaped me. My breathing grew uneven as the material settled into place. Then the skirt, hugging close as I pulled the zipper up. It forced a certain posture, a certain awareness of my body I couldn't ignore. The blouse followed, soft against my skin, draping in a way that felt unfamiliar yet strangely natural. I turned toward the mirror. It was still me. Of course it was. The same face, the same features. But something had shifted. Subtle but undeniable. The lines of my body seemed softer somehow, my stance less rigid. Without thinking, I adjusted, shoulders easing, posture refining, movements becoming more deliberate. And then, the heels. They were higher than anything I'd worn before. As I slipped them on, my balance faltered, forcing me upright in a way that felt both exposed and controlled. My first step was clumsy. The next less so. By the time I crossed the room I wasn't steady, but I wasn't falling either. A strange sense of pride flickered through me. The front door opened. Panic hit instantly. I turned, rushing toward the bedroom, the sharp clicks of the heels betraying every step. My pulse roared in my ears. Too late. She was already there. Emma stood in the hallway watching. Her gaze moved slowly, deliberately, from the lace at my collar, down the line of the skirt, to the unsteady heels beneath me. I tried to speak, to explain, to say anything at all. But she simply raised her phone. "Good girl," she said softly, a faint smile touching her lips. After that, everything changed. She didn't ridicule me. She didn't argue or threaten. Instead, she adapted. Refined. Controlled. It was as if she had found something she wanted, and decided to shape it. "You've always been more responsive like this," she said one morning, placing a bottle of foundation into my hands. "Now we're just being honest about it." Her voice was calm, almost encouraging, but there was something firm beneath it. "I think it's time you start working for me properly." I hesitated. "You mean, like a joke?" Her expression sharpened instantly. "I mean every day." There was no room for misunderstanding. "I've cleared out the study," she continued. "That's your office now, Jordana." The name came easily to her. Too easily. Jordana. As if it had always been there, waiting. Each morning brought something new. A carefully chosen outfit laid out for me. Stockings, tailored blouses, skirts that dictated how I sat, how I moved. Heels that demanded balance and patience. Sometimes there were extras. Earrings. Lipstick. Subtle additions that completed the image she was building. "Presentation matters," she murmured once, fastening a necklace around my neck with practiced ease. "If you're going to represent me, you should look the part." And it wasn't just appearance. She gave me responsibilities. Real ones. Managing her schedule. Organizing documents. Preparing reports from voice notes she sent throughout the day. Little by little the lines blurred. Between who I was, and who she was shaping me into. The strangest part? She never told anyone. Not her friends. Not her sister. No one. She kept me hidden, her private secret, just like I had once hidden that locked trunk. Days turned into weeks and something inside me began to shift. Not just outwardly, though that was impossible to ignore. My skin softened from the lotions she insisted I use. My movements grew more controlled, more deliberate. Even my walk changed, slower, measured, careful. And each morning, I started to anticipate it. The outfit laid out. The quiet ritual of dressing. The small, electric thrill of stepping into something chosen for me. It should have felt wrong. But it didn't always. That was the problem. Because beneath that strange excitement, something deeper was unraveling. This wasn't self-expression anymore. It wasn't even curiosity. It was control. Emma decided everything now, what I wore, when I worked, how I spoke. She never raised her voice, never lashed out. Her dominance was subtle, almost gentle on the surface. But it was constant. Unyielding. I wasn't her partner anymore. I was something she was shaping. One afternoon, while organizing files in the study, my study now, I found something I wasn't meant to see. A folder. Jordana, compliance plan. My stomach dropped before I even opened it. Inside were pages of notes. Careful, methodical. Voice training scheduled. Hair removal appointments. Gradual normalization. Introduce identity reinforcement. Even suggestions that went far beyond anything I had agreed to. And at the bottom, written neatly, final phase, integration. My hands went cold. This wasn't spontaneous. This wasn't acceptance. This was deliberate. Planned. Revenge. I didn't know how long she'd known. Maybe she'd suspected for months. Maybe she'd been waiting. Watching. And now, she was rewriting me. Fully. Completely. The worst part wasn't just the fear. It was the conflict. Because a part of me, one I didn't want to admit existed, was drawn to it. The attention. The transformation. The way my reflection no longer looked like someone I disliked. But another part of me was screaming. What if someone found out? My coworkers. My family. My friends. What would they think? Would they see me as broken? As something to laugh at, or worse? I told myself I should stop. Walk away. End it. But every time I tried to imagine it, I hesitated. Her voice would echo in my mind. Don't pretend you hate this. And she wasn't wrong. Sitting at her desk, dressed as she wanted, poised, composed, perfectly arranged, I felt seen. Not by the world. By her. The woman I once loved. Now the woman who controlled me. Then came the test. Emma walked in one evening holding a slim gray box. I scheduled you for a live Zoom call tomorrow, she said casually. You'll be taking notes. One of my clients. My chest tightened. Emma. I can't. You will. Her tone cut through me instantly. You'll wear this. I opened the box slowly. Inside was a carefully coordinated outfit. Soft lilac blouse, matching skirt, sheer stockings. Pearl earrings. A shoulder-length wig. And a name tag. Jordana, executive assistant. I trained you for this, she said quietly. Don't disappoint me. Then she left. I sat there shaking. This wasn't private anymore. This was real. The next morning felt different. Too quiet. No note. No instructions. No carefully staged outfit. Just silence. For a moment I considered backing out. Pretending to be sick. Avoiding it entirely. But deep down I knew better. This wasn't optional. I opened the box again. Every piece inside felt symbolic now. Not just clothing but proof of how far things had gone. Or how far I had let them go. I dressed slowly, each step tightening something around me I couldn't quite name. By the time I pinned the name tag in place, it didn't feel like a disguise anymore. It felt assigned. I stared at my reflection. I didn't know if she would be proud. Or simply satisfied. At exactly 9 a.m. the meeting began. Emma had already left, but her message lingered on my phone. Be flawless. I'm recording. My stomach twisted. The screen lit up. Camera on. I adjusted the angle carefully, professional, composed. Just another assistant on a call. Then the client appeared. Good morning, he said, glancing at his notes. You must be Jordana. There was a pause. A choice. Yes, I replied, my voice steady, just slightly altered. Nice to meet you. He didn't question it. Didn't hesitate. The meeting moved forward like nothing was unusual. I performed. Taking notes. Nodding. Smiling at the right moments. Exactly as she had taught me. 40 minutes later it was over. I ended the call and slumped back in the chair, breath unsteady. I had done it. I had passed. And for a brief, unsettling moment, I felt proud. That feeling didn't last. That afternoon, Emma came home early. She stood in the doorway, sunglasses still on, phone already in her hand. "Smile," she said. I turned away instantly, my heart racing. But it was too late. She had what she wanted. Another piece of me. Captured. "I did what you asked," I said quietly. "The meeting went fine." "I know," Emma replied. "I watched all of it." She crossed the room at an unhurried pace, her heels tapping softly against the floor. "You're surprisingly good at this, Jordana," she added, her voice smooth. "Calm. Convincing." A faint smile touched her lips. "Honestly, you might be better at being my assistant than you ever were at being my boyfriend." The words landed harder than I expected. She sat down across from me, removing her sunglasses with deliberate care. Her eyes were sharp, focused. "You know what I realized," she said lightly. "You lied to me for months. Hid parts of yourself. Made me question things I noticed. Little details that didn't add up." Her gaze didn't waver. Lipstick out of place. Stockings stretched. Shoes moved. She leaned in slightly. "But now," she continued. "Now you're finally honest." My throat tightened. "So this is punishment?" She tilted her head, almost amused. "This isn't punishment, Jordana," she said softly. "It's clarity." Then she stood and walked away, leaving her phone behind on the desk. The screen lit up. Curiosity, or maybe dread, pulled me closer. What I saw made my chest tighten. A private cloud folder. Shared with someone named Lexi. I opened it. Images. Dozens of them. Photos of me in different outfits. Screenshots from the Zoom call. Moments I didn't even know had been captured. Me adjusting makeup, fixing my hair, completely unaware I was being watched. Some had captions. Short. Casual. Full. Like I was a project being documented. My hands started to shake. I shut the laptop and sat there, unable to breathe properly. The emotions came all at once. Anger, shame, fear. Too tangled to separate. But I didn't confront her. I didn't run. I just broke down. The next 2 days passed in a strange, quiet blur. Emma acted normal. Too normal. She smiled. Made coffee. Touched my face like nothing had changed. One morning she even let me wear something softer, less formal. For a moment I almost believed things were easing. Then the email arrived. Subject: Staff meeting, Friday 3 p.m. Location: living room. Dress code: formal. Jordana required. My pulse spiked. Staff meeting? There was no staff. I rushed to the bedroom. The outfit was already waiting. A fitted black dress. Sheer tights. Red heels. Jewelry. A bold lipstick placed carefully beside it. And a note. "Take notes. Be polite. Smile. We'll have guests." Guests. The word alone made my chest tighten. Friday came faster than I was ready for. I dressed in silence, each step mechanical. The lipstick felt too bold, too visible. The reflection staring back at me looked composed, but I knew better. Inside, everything was shaking. The doorbell rang. 3 sharp knocks. I stepped into the living room, clipboard in hand. Emma was already there, relaxed on the couch, a glass of wine in her hand. And beside her, she looked at me like she already knew everything. "Perfect timing," Emma said. Lexi smiled, slow and deliberate. "You weren't exaggerating," she said. "Impressive." I froze under her gaze. She circled me, studying me like I was something on display. "And your name?" she asked. "Jordana," I said quietly. She lifted my chin slightly. Louder. "Jordana." Emma clapped once, satisfied. "Why don't you get us some wine?" I moved automatically, my hands unsteady as I poured. Behind me they talked. About work. About people. About me. Fragments drifted through the air. Comments, observations, spoken like I wasn't even there. I stood still, listening, trying not to react. Then Emma leaned forward slightly, her voice cutting through everything else. "Next time we'll invite more people," she said casually. "Let them meet my assistant." Lexi laughed softly. "That could be fun." The room felt smaller. My grip slipped. The bottle fell. Glass shattered across the floor. Silence followed instantly. Emma stood. One step. Then another. She leaned close, her voice low and controlled. Clean it up, she said. We're not finished yet. That night after they were gone, I stood in front of the mirror. The reflection staring back at me didn't feel whole. Makeup smudged. Expression hollow. I let it fall. Who was I anymore? The question wouldn't leave. Across the room a small red light blinked. Camera. Recording. Always recording. Sleep never came that night. Even after I wiped everything away, the makeup, the mess, I still felt exposed. Watched. The next morning something in me snapped. I didn't wear what she left out. I chose jeans. A hoodie. Something familiar. Something mine. As soon as she left, I went straight for her laptop. The password wasn't hard. I'd figured it out days ago. Inside the cloud, more folders. More files. One stood out. Scheduled release. My stomach dropped. I opened it. A video. Edited. Clean. Polished. Me on that call. Smiling. Working. At the end, her voice off screen. Say it. My voice followed. Controlled. Quiet. The video cut to black. I checked the details. Scheduled to upload that night. Public. My chest tightened. This wasn't private anymore. This was exposure. Total, irreversible. A knock at the door snapped me out of it. Then another. Firm. Intentional. I froze. Slowly I moved to the peephole. And everything inside me dropped. My manager. My team lead. And behind them, Emma. Smiling. Holding a folder. Jordan. Her voice called from outside, sweet and controlled. We should talk. My legs felt weak. This wasn't coincidence. This was planned. Another knock. Louder. The handle moved slightly. She had a key. I stepped back, breathing unevenly. Behind me, the laptop screen still glowed. In front of me, the door. And to the side, the closet. Two choices. Two versions of myself. I didn't know which one was real anymore. But I knew one thing for certain. Whatever I chose next, there would be no going back.